Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Convention with the Weekly Comic Roundup. We covered a few books a little bit of this week's haul, as well as some of the books we missed from a couple weeks ago last night. Now it's going to at least finish off this week's haul and more from a couple weeks ago. Kicking things off, we've got Legion of X number 9. Where we left off, various mutants across the world were beginning to take on more monstrous appearances and as well as actions. And a few members of the Legion, along with Black Knight Jax, did some further investigating and came upon a potential source, Nightcrawler's adopted mother. We start off with some news items. In Los Angeles, we've got what's going on with Angel. Husk and Chamber are in pursuit. Beijing, police open fire on a dragon dog. A mutant in distress is detected by Cerebro. In London, Buenos Aires, and Prague, there are civilian protests at the gates. A sample placard is Mutants Equal Monsters. In Manila, a woman separates own head from body, walks using own spine and viscera. Locals claim suspect is a known mutie. Krakoa in the Academia's habitat, there's suspected monster activity. In Reykjavik, a fishing trawler is wrecked. Survivor describes metamorphosis of crewmate into orca made of hair. Soundbite, well, we knew he was a mutant. It's never been a problem until now. In Moscow, Kinshasa, Paris, London, and Pretoria, emergency laws for monitoring no mutants have been tabled. And in Nairobi, there's a giant-sized aardvark. Mutant signatures detected by local law enforcement. Military support requested. And we get a few of these. The information on some of them, at least, including at the Green Lagoon. Mutant named Clayton, well, their extra mouths began to sing. Everyone was spellbound by this, so much so that none of them complained when she begins to peel them like fruits. Oh, Irina Clayton, okay. But at the altar, Fabian Cortez is monitoring all of this and passing along information to the Legion when Xavier shows up to talk to Legion. See what he's done, and he's honestly proud. He's surprised. We get some information about Kurt's surrogate mother. She is a practitioner of the Winding Way. There's also a whole write-up about it. It's very much, it's the kind of thing where the only way to advance along the way is to kill those ahead of you. But she's the one she's kind of activating all this, causing traits more monstrous traits, less humanish traits. Their genetic traits become more dominant. And she does so to Dr. Nemesis, causing the mushrooms that he's been growing out of his brain to grow controllably. On Krakoa, a spire has formed, in part thanks to Warlock, who is no longer, who has for the moment severed his bond with Cypher. Banshee basically is his equivalent, his spirit equivalent of Ghost Rider's penance stare, the Scream of Change, and Doug learns that the Phalanx, worse than the Phalanx, Nimrod is loose within the. It has gotten loose in the altar and now can hack Krakoa by hacking into Warlock's mind. Like I said, Xavier is honestly proud of what David's done with the altar, and proud of David in general. Finally we get to see Xavier actually be a decent father to Legion, but he's given a tour of the place. But it turns out that we have a name for her. Margali is working with Orcus. But something's going wrong on the altar. An earlier panel does get a hint that perhaps Xavier did something to maybe neuter Legion's abilities, but Mother Righteous shows up and basically said, now would be the time to take that deal. And on Krakoa, the Phalanx are using the spire that has been created as a staging area, and with their presence within the altar, they're able to connect to psychics and people dreaming, turning them into the Phalanx drones and loosing them upon the island. While Krakoa is turning more and more, takes on a face similar to Nimrod's and is creating kind of bio-sentinels. That is where the issue ends. Sentinel invasion of Krakoa. To be fair, they've likely got plans for it. Lots and lots of plans. Moving on to our next book, we've got Sabretooth and the Exiles #2, which was actually a holdover from a couple weeks ago. Where we left off, the Exiles had saved Sabretooth, but in the process of doing so, they saved her from Orcus. In the process of doing so, however, Orphan Maker was taken prisoner. But Necro's beaten the hell out of Sabretooth as payback for things that happened in the Sabretooth miniseries. But it's noticed that he's not healing. At least not as quickly as he normally would. And even he knows it's true. Even Sabretooth knows that's the case. Something's wrong. Do we have a name? Dr. Barrington is trying to decide what to do when it comes to Orphan Maker, while her creation watches beside her. Danny explains Orphan Maker's past. Sinister found him, and Danny took him and crafted his armor to contain his power. But they go to Orcus Station 2, bust in. Madison Jeffries is able to convince the security system of the place to kind of, ignore them. But it turns out that the reason why Sabretooth isn't healing as well is a device that Dr. Barrington implanted in him that basically slows down how quickly mutations work. The idea being to make it that's a test, and the idea is to then make it through the test to turn into something that is normal, and eventually everyone has one, and it would then prevent mutations from even manifesting. But they find basically a room full of cages with various test subjects. When the creation bursts through a wall, they're really scared. Necra takes her down, and but Sabretooth points out, "Hey, yeah, she's scared. I don't even need my heightened senses to know that." But Orphan Maker comes in. It appears that his armor has been slightly breached. Third Eye has an idea, and basically takes everyone to the astral plane, which is where the issue ends. Should be noted also, Orchid Station 2 is in a friggin' volcano. Like, they went and tracked down evil real estate agent who was like, "Hey, we're a villainous group. We need an evil lair. What you got?" Like, well, we got this volcano base. No one really. It's an active volcano, so you gotta be careful. Like, volcano base, we'll take it. I haven't told you. Well, doesn't matter. We'll take it. Moving on though to our next book, we actually have a Wolverine double feature. Wolverine 28 from a few weeks ago, where we had left off. Beast had killed Wolverine, was having him resurrected as basically without his backups being installed. He's being kept in a cave by Beast and sent on missions simply by Beast, and he also has a collar that shocks him when Beast needs to discipline him. But he's got a mission. A U.S. general is advocating for nullifying the treaty between U.S. and Krakoa. However, and the whole Beast has got everything set to turn off the security system. But before he can do that, Wolverine gets to set up his target, kills the security, and kills the set target. There's a Enter from Beast logbook between Hope and Beast. Hope not entirely liking what it is she's doing. Upon returning to Krakoa, Beast uses the collar to shock Wolverine a bit, and ends up getting bitten on the thumb, which leaves him getting shocked again. But Krakoa is aware of what's going on, and he gets to see just what the argument that's occurring between Sage and Beast. Sage has seen the camera footage, but Krakoa helps Wolverine escape from the hole that Beast has him in, and he gets to run free for a bit. He saves someone. He saves a girl from from being pulled down a waterfall. And he cuts himself and lets Krakoa pull and gets basically sucked down into the pit. There's also a congressional record of a public hearing. Beast appearing before Congress and basically saying, "Hey, yeah, no, it wasn't Wolverine. Recently, the X-Desk the X-Desk of the CIA was making robot duplicates of members of the X-Men, including Wolverine. It was one. It was one of those. Basically, saying, it could have been one of those. It could have been, maybe somebody made a clone of him, so on and so forth. But basically, Wolverine has himself put in the pit. Not through official channels, just communicating with Krakoa to do so. And that is where issue 28 ends. Brings us to issue 29 of Wolverine. Wolverine in the pit. Basically, he's seeing some very skewed versions of his memories. Coming upon the Hudsons and them instead of them shooting him a couple times and then knocking him out and nursing him back to health, they shoot him and they keep shooting him until Guardian takes him to Weapon X Wolverine starts to cut his way out of the pit, but he's pulling him back. Agent Barrington's daughter tries out the Deadpool finger that she was given by Wolverine if she needs help to go through a gate. Wolverine's continuing to see, like I said, skewed versions of his past. But the basic rundown is that Sabretooth left an imprint of himself in the pit, and so when someone's in the pit, that imprint manifests. And that's what Wolverine's going to deal with that. And as it's an imprint of Sabretooth, it is, of course, very hostile towards Wolverine. But Wolverine now knows that it's Beast that's causing all the harm he's going through. And he eventually breaks free, but we get various other members, such as him killing Mariko, him killing Jean. Back during the Grant Morrison run, there was a point where Wolverine and Jean were in a drifting escape pod in space, and the only way they could get back to Earth would be if Jean basically once again became the Phoenix, but she had to die first, so Wolverine stabbed her. We get Wolverine killing Akihiro, Wolverine decapitating Sabretooth, and then he fights a Krakoa Sabretooth amalgamation, but some of the mutant kids bring Barrington's daughter to the point to talk to Sage. Well, maybe talk to Wolverine. After Wolverine defeats the amalgamation of Sabretooth, utilizing the collar that Beast had put on him to basically burn it out. But he digs his way out. Sage finds him, and it's explained that Beast has Agent Barrington held prisoner. Or at least the Blue Man, which presumably would be Beast. That is where the issue ends. Yeah, if there was any doubt that Beast is definitely becoming a full-on villain, I'd say that doubt's gone. Moving on to our next book, we've got X-Men number 18. where we left off, Forge found Wolverine, an aged Wolverine, Laura Kinney, in the vault. It's the Wolverine that went in with Sink and Darwin, who was presumed dead. But he got her out, and she was reunited with Sink, who, since he's been out of the vault, has had to deal with the fact that the Wolverine Laura he's been working with, that he sees regularly, just not like dating scene, just they happen to pass by. They will often happen to be in the same place, the same place at the same time. It has no memory of their time in the vault. But he's dealt with this and said, yeah, what happened between me and Laura can't, never be continued because, yeah. But, Beast is skeptical about the returned Laura. Basically, did anyone, think to make sure she wasn't, some kind of, spy sent by the vault? They're not exactly friendly to mutants, so. But Vault Laura wants to have a chat with Reborn Laura, who is dealing with some vampires with the rest of the Exterminators. More on them in a bit. They interrupt the Dazzler show, and so yeah. But so the Lauras go to talk. Well, elsewhere, at an orbital Orcus station, some part of the base has been grown unstable. The X-Men happen to be nearby and perform a rescue operation. Because, hey, you remember when your base was about to blow up, it was mutants who saved you. Just remember that. But Beast suggests that the Bloom be fully reconnoitered, as it seems Orcus is intent on being a permanent and long-term opponent of the Free Mutant State. It suggests they are a clone of an operative that doesn't have an X gene for the purposes of having a walk around the place. The two Lauras take on, basically just, master the vampire nest while discussing everything. Resurrected Laura is going to, is keeping the Wolverine name. And Vault Laura, honestly, doesn't really want anything to do with her younger self. Didn't want to see her. Apparently, they're the Exterminators are thinking about making their team a permanent team, and Vault Laura and Sink go back to the treehouse and they do some fucking. Lots and lots of fucking. X-Men stuff. The issue ends with a transmission to the X-Men from Corsair, apologizing for being a shitty father and warning the X-Men that, the Brood are back. And it's also supposed to serve as something of a suicide note, kind of. I got one gun. I got one round left in my gun. I got a Brood growing in me, so yeah. And that is where the issue ends. So yeah, next month's issue of X-Men, if I remember correctly, is supposed to be kicks off a crossover with Captain Marvel, basically turning the current Captain Marvel arc into an X-Men Captain Marvel crossover. Moving on, though, to our last book for the moment, we've got X-Terminators number 4. Like I said, more on them later, you know? Later is now, though. Where we left off, our heroines had discovered that their host had a deal with one of the with the collector, and they ended up on the collector's ship. Of course, there were also outfits, so they were able to change. Oh, what is that asshole's name? He is very much an asshole. I just listed. But Dazzler's ex was briefly accused of being into pee. A little bit of king shaming that happens there, but Wolverine being the one to say, "Hey, just admit it." But they end up. It suggested that Wolverine shower because she started to smell like her father. But everyone has a costume basically now. Daz was a cheerleader. Boom Boom is a strawberry shortcake type character. Jubilee is totally not a center scout. And Wolverine's a witch. But they opt to muck up the ship's plumbing by having by flushing a bunch of Boom Boom's time bombs down, and so the ship's evacuated, but they managed to save as many of the collector's prisoners as possible, and go through a portal which leads them back to Earth, where the Knights and the New Mutants are having their a pickup baseball game. On-field powers are okay, which is a distinct change in the usual superhero baseball game rules. Usually, powers are banned, but yeah, the refuge ship land right in the middle of the outfield. And a bomb is one of Boom Boom's time bombs is chucked back into the portal. And, well, turns out there's a bit of an incident. And with another country, because of all that's happened. Another country? The Vampire Nation. Dracula wants, Dracula is demanding the execution of the X-Terminators, but it's pointed out that everyone that they killed was actually a rogue vampire, and therefore not part of the Vampire Nation, and in fact, likely even had bounties because of, on them. And so, but then Dracula was, yeah, okay, you're right, pay them. And before the payment can be doled out, Dazzler has a better idea. She wants a boon. Her boon is simply dibs on Alex. And the issue ends with Dazzler and the Exterminators finding Alex once again, and yeah, basically going to give him a massive amount of grief. Though as I recall, X-Terminators got delayed by about a month, which is kind of clear from what happened in X-Men. But anyway, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long and rock hard.